1975, a year of disco lights, denim jackets, and dreams that played through vinyl grooves. Some songs ruled the airwaves for only a heartbeat, yet their melodies still echo across time. They didn't need fame, just one unforgettable hit to leave their mark. Let's turn back the clock to 1975 and remember the one-hit wonders that burned bright and vanished just as fast. Number 1, Magic by Pilot. From the rainy streets of Edinburgh came a band with nothing but a dream and a melody that sounded like sunlight. In 1975, 4 young Scots calling themselves Pilot recorded Magic, a song that shimmered with optimism and innocence, the kind of tune that made the world feel weightless for 3.5 minutes. Its bouncing rhythm, playful guitar riffs, and soaring chorus, "Oh ho ho, it's magic," captured the hopeful mood of mid-70s pop. Behind that simple line was songwriter David Payton, who once played bass for the Bay City Rollers before forming Pilot with his bandmate Billy Lyle. Together they created a sound that blended Beatles-like harmonies with the polished brightness of American airwaves. It shot to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100, instantly becoming one of those songs that made summer drives feel endless and carefree. Yet just as quickly as their fame rose, it faded. Their label collapsed, internal tensions grew, and by the end of the decade, Pilot had vanished, leaving behind only this radiant relic of youthful wonder. Chevy Van by Sammy Johns.
She's gonna love me in my Chevy van, and that's all right with me.
In early 1975, America was on the move. The highways were long, the gas was cheap again, and the world seemed to stretch endlessly beyond the windshield. Somewhere in North Carolina, a young singer-songwriter named Sammy Johns captured that feeling of freedom in a song about a man, a girl, and a van.
Her young face, like that of an angel.
Chevy Van wasn't just about a vehicle. It was about a moment. That dusky orange glow of a setting sun, the hum of the tires, the brief unspoken connection between two strangers who knew they'd never meet again. Its soft acoustic rhythm and wistful tone made it feel like a confession from the open road itself. When it hit the radio, it became the unexpected anthem of America's van-living culture, a generation of dreamers who wanted to live out of the back of their own freedom.
She's gonna love me in my Chevy van, that's all right with me.
The song climbed to number 5 on Billboard, and Sammy Johns, once an unknown musician, suddenly found himself on the map. But like the fleeting romance in his lyrics, the success was short-lived. He never managed to follow it up, fading quietly as disco began to take over. Still, every time an old pickup rolls past under the golden light of a late afternoon, you can almost hear that line again. "We made love in my Chevy van, and that's all right with me." It's a love letter to a time when the road itself was home.
Took me by the hand, we made love in my Chevy van, and that's all right with me.
Number 3, Why Can't We Be Friends? By War. 1975 was a year when the world seemed divided. By race, by politics, by the aftershocks of a turbulent decade. But then came a song that broke through all of it, not with anger or protest, but with a smile. This track was pure musical sunshine, funky, simple, and irresistibly human. It began with a playful bass line, then a chorus so universal that anyone, anywhere could sing along. Why can't we be friends? 4 words that turned into one of the most disarming messages of the decade. War wasn't new to blending worlds. The band's lineup was a living symbol of multicultural America. Black, white, and Latino musicians united by rhythm and groove. Recorded in California, the track mixed funk, soul, and a dash of jazz, all tied together by the band's signature laid-back swagger.
So I can show you how your money is spent. Why can't we be friends?
When it hit the airwaves, it shot up to number 6 on Billboard and instantly became a soundtrack for unity. It was played on college campuses, radio stations, and even used by NASA's simplest song carries the deepest truth.
I kinda like to be the president. So
Number 4, Dance With Me by Orleans.
dance with me. I want to be your partner.
As the summer of 1975 unfolded, the airwaves softened. The roar of guitars gave way to something warmer, a gentle breeze of acoustic strings and harmony. From the Hudson Valley of New York came Orleans, a band that perfectly captured that tender, easygoing sound with their hit, Dance With Me.
Take you where you want to go.
It wasn't a song that tried to shout. It whispered, a soft guitar intro, the delicate voice of Larry Hoppin, and lyrics that invited rather than demanded. Dance with me. I want to be your partner. It was romance without drama, love without hurry, the kind of song couples played while the sun went down and the room filled with amber light. Written by John Hall and Johanna Hall, it became one of the defining soft rock ballads of the decade, peaking at number 6 on Billboard's Hot 100. Orleans became known briefly as the face of that mellow mid-70s serenity. Part folk, part pop, entirely hard. But the moment didn't last. Trends shifted, and their later releases never quite recaptured that perfect balance of warmth and simplicity.
Let it lift you off the ground.
Still, Dance With Me lives on in every yacht rock playlist, every nostalgic movie montage, every quiet evening when love feels effortless. A 3-minute escape into a gentler world where all you had to do was dance. Number 5, Lovin' You by Minnie Riperton.
Loving you is
There are songs that feel written for eternity, delicate, flawless, and impossibly pure. In 1975, one of those songs arrived, carried by a voice unlike any the world had heard before.
and every time that I'm more in love with you.
That voice belonged to Minnie Riperton, and the song was Lovin' You. It begins softly, the sound of birds, a gentle keyboard, and then her voice gliding effortlessly into the clouds. No drums, no heavy production, just the sound of love itself. Minnie wrote it with her husband, Richard Rudolph, as a lullaby for their baby daughter, Maya, who would later become the actress and comedian Maya Rudolph. Every note was personal, every lyric intimate. When Lovin' You was released, it didn't just chart, it soared to number 1 on Billboard, transcending genres and continents. Her 5-octave range and that legendary whistle note near the end turned the track into one of the most breathtaking vocal performances in pop history. But behind the beauty was heartbreak. Only a few years after the song's success, Minnie was diagnosed with breast cancer and passed away at just 31. Her voice, light as air, yet unforgettably human, became immortal. Even now, when Lovin' You plays, it feels like time slows down. For a few seconds, the world becomes softer, kinder, and filled with that same warmth she once sang to her table, and songs that could make you fall in love in 3 minutes flat. But here's a question for you. Do you remember the very first song from 1975 that made you stop and listen? Was it blasting through a car radio or spinning on your old record player? Drop your answer in the comments below and tell us where you were when you first heard it. Now, let's keep the music playing. Number 6, The Hustle by McCoy. It had no words, just rhythm and joy. Yet somehow, it said everything about the mid-70s. The freedom, the fashion, the pulse of nightlife when the world glittered under mirrored lights. Released in the summer of 1975, the song exploded instantly, racing to number 1 on Billboard, and even earning a Grammy Award the following year. The Hustle became one of the most recognizable instrumentals in history. Even today, when that flute riff begins, it's impossible not to smile. And maybe, just maybe, move your feet. Ignoring it. The song's pounding rhythm and explosive vocals sent it climbing to number 18 on Billboard's Hot 100. And for a moment, Ram Jam looked poised for rock greatness. But controversy soon followed. Some radio stations banned it for its roots in a work song with racial undertones, and critics argued over its meaning. Still, the song refused to fade. Its riff, primal and unforgettable, went on to become a cultural staple, from sports arenas to movie soundtracks. Ram Jam never scored another major hit, but Black Betty remains immortal, proof that sometimes one song can outlive the band that created it. It's not just a track, it's an eruption, echoing the wild, untamed spirit of rock in the mid-70s. Number 8. Feelings by Morris Albert. There are songs that live not through their complexity, but through their simplicity. Those that capture a feeling so universal, it becomes eternal. In 1975, one quiet Brazilian singer, Morris Albert, did exactly that with a song simply called Feelings. Soft piano chords, a lonely string section, and a trembling voice that seemed to hold back tears. It was a song about love, loss, and the ache of remembering what once was. Albert wrote it in Sao Paulo, never imagining it would leave his country. But when this track crossed the ocean, it spread like an emotional wildfire.
It's like I've never lost you.
The song climbed to number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the most covered ballads in history, performed by everyone from Andy Williams to Ella Fitzgerald. It was played at weddings, in lounges, on late-night radio shows, anywhere hearts were open and memories were heavy. And yet, its beauty was also its curse. Its haunting simplicity made it one of the most parodied songs of all time, even mocked by comedians for being too sentimental. But through every imitation, the sincerity of that trembling line, feelings, nothing more than feelings, has never lost its power. For a brief, shining moment, Morris Albert touched the entire world with one fragile melody. And long after the laughter fades, the emotion remains. Number 9. Please, Mr. Postman, by the Carpenters. By 1975, music had changed. Louder guitars, brighter disco lights, faster rhythms. But then came a song that felt like a gentle postcard from the past. This track wasn't new. It had been a Motown hit for the Marvelettes in 1961. But in the hands of Karen and Richard Carpenter, it became something altogether timeless. Karen's voice carried the purity of glass, fragile, honest, and filled with messages and digital screens when love had to travel miles in an envelope. Their rendition arrived at just the right moment. Released in early 1975, it soared to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making the Carpenters one of the few acts to bring a 1960s classic back to the top in a new decade. The warm harmonies, soft percussion, and Richard's careful production turned an old teenage plea into a polished, radio-perfect gem. It was a reminder that even in the glitter and noise of the mid-70s, the world still had space for tenderness. The Carpenters would go on to record many more beloved songs, but this one stood out, a bridge between innocence and memory, between the handwritten and the heart-spoken. Every time it plays, you can almost feel that envelope in your hands, and the hope waiting inside. Number 10. Jive Talkin' by Bee Gees. By the mid-1970s, the Bee Gees were fading. Once adored for their tender ballads, they now found themselves out of step with a changing world, until a single night in Miami changed everything. Driving across the Julia Tuttle Causeway to the studio each evening, Barry Gibb kept hearing the rhythm of his car tires over the bridge's seams. Thump, 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 thump. A groove that would soon become the heartbeat of Jive Talkin'. It was their reinvention, the spark that would transform them from soft rock crooners into disco pioneers. Released in May 1975, the song fused funk-inspired bass lines with a slick, futuristic production unlike anything they'd done before. Listeners thought it came straight from the dance clubs of New York. Yet it was born from that steady hum of tires on asphalt. When Jive Talkin' hit the radio, it raced up the charts, reaching #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and breathing new life into the Bee Gees' career. It wasn't just a comeback, it was the dawn of their second act. The world didn't yet know that Stayin' Alive and Night Fever were just around the corner, but this was the moment it all began. With its swagger, pulse, and effortless cool, Jive Talkin' became the bridge between the soulful early 70s and the glittering disco revolution that would define the decade. The brothers had found their rhythm again, and this time, it would never stop.